Lieutenant Jake Morrison wiped sweat from his brow as he stepped into the Galactic Defense Academy's combat simulation chamber. Around him, representatives from 12 different species observed through reinforced viewing panels, their various forms of eyes tracking his every movement. "Surely there must be some mistake," chittered Ambassador Velnash, her mantis-like form swaying nervously. "This human claims to have only average combat training from his homeworld." Admiral Korath of the Centauri Defense Corps flicked his gill slits dismissively. "Deathworlders always exaggerate. We've seen the reports from Earth: constant warfare, predatory ecosystems, toxic atmosphere. They must be compensating for something." The simulation began without warning. Holographic enemies materialized. A standard academy test featuring 6 hostile combatants armed with plasma rifles, positioned in a multi-level urban environment. Most cadets required teams of 4 to complete this scenario. Jake moved. What happened next defied every tactical model the assembled aliens possessed. The human didn't take cover behind the designated barriers or follow standard engagement protocols. Instead, he sprinted directly toward the enemy position, using a crumbling wall as a springboard to launch himself 15 feet vertically, a feat that would have shattered the bones of most species present. "Impossible," whispered Dr. Thixel, her crystalline form refracting light in agitation. "No sentient being moves like that without powered exoskeletons." Jake landed behind 3 hostiles, his combat knife, a primitive metal blade that most species had abandoned millennia ago, finding vital points with surgical precision. He rolled beneath plasma fire that would have vaporized anyone else, the beams passing harmlessly through the space his torso had occupied nanoseconds before. "He's predicting the targeting algorithms," Admiral Korath gasped. "But that requires computational speeds beyond biological limits." What the aliens didn't understand was that Jake Morrison, a perfectly average human soldier, had grown up playing dodgeball with kids who could throw at 90 miles per hour. He'd learned to fight in gravity that crushed most alien bones, against predators whose reflexes had been honed by millions of years of evolutionary arms races. His primitive knife was forged from steel stronger than most alien hull plating. The remaining 3 hostiles attempted to flank him from elevated positions. Jake spotted a discarded pipe, crude metal alloy by galactic standards, and hurled it like a javelin. It punched through the holographic enemy's chest with enough force to embed itself in the reinforced wall behind. "He just threw a piece of debris like a kinetic weapon," stammered Velnash. "The velocity calculations alone." Jake moved up the levels using parkour techniques that would have been impossible for species evolved on low-gravity worlds or peaceful ecosystems. His hands found purchase on surfaces too rough for alien skin. His joints bent at angles that would dislocate other species' limbs. The final 2 enemies coordinated their attack, plasma bolts converging on Jake's position. He slid beneath their crossed fire and emerged behind them in a movement so fluid it seemed choreographed. 2 precise strikes later, the simulation ended. Silence filled the observation chamber. Jake looked up at the viewing panels, slightly winded but otherwise unharmed. "So, did I pass? Because honestly, I was never that great at CQB back home. My squad leader Martinez could have done that in half the time." Dr. Thixel's crystalline structure began vibrating at frequencies that indicated severe distress. "He claims there are humans who are better at this?" Admiral Korath slumped in his chair. "We've been preparing for war with species like the Vorthan Empire, who consider themselves the galaxy's greatest warriors, but they evolved on a garden world with 0.7 Earth gravity. What exactly is the average death rate on your homeworld?" Velnash asked weakly. Jake shrugged. "From violence, maybe 0.5% annually. But if you count accidents, disease, natural disasters, extreme sports..." He paused, doing quick mental math. "Mom always said Earth was trying to kill us. But that's just normal, right?" The assembled aliens exchanged looks of existential terror. Outside the chamber, recruitment posters for the Galactic Defense Corps quietly began featuring disclaimers. "Warning: service alongside Deathworlders may cause severe psychological trauma to non-Terran species.